Yo, welcome to the KaneSaid Sports Show, and I'm your host, Kane Bradfield. And y'all know my slogan, the fame is free, but the grind costs, baby. Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of KaneSaid. And y'all know my slogan, the fame is free, but the grind costs, baby. Listen, I got a special guest in the house. How you doing, man?
Great to see you, big guy.
Yes, sir, man. Look, man, let people know who you are, baby.
Coach Kendal Wallace, head men's basketball coach at LaGrange College.
Yes, sir. So, Kendal, listen, man, you know, man, you got a little history, man. Well, look, man, let the people know, man, like, you know what I'm saying, how you got started.
Real to you and how we got started as I showed up in the Dominican Republic at your crashing your wedding. So my wife
Wedding
and I.
crashes, right? Right.
And then 2 days later, I was the best man. So who knows, you know?
Life, baby.
Life is good. Yeah. Life is good. So, you know, growing up, I was always into all three of the big sports back in the day, you know, football, baseball, basketball. Always knew I wanted to coach. I thought I wanted to be a high school teacher, you know, and coach at that level. And so out of college, I took a job coaching and teaching in high school, and just I have a history and political science degree, and just didn't find my calling in the classroom for history. You know, I loved the subject, but I just didn't like teaching it. You know, it was one of those type of situations. So after 2 years there, I went to graduate school. And worked at a Division II school, worked at University of North Alabama.
Okay.
Under Gary Elliott. He was a Division II national championship in 1991. So I thought, you know, great coach, good program, all those type of things. And it was just a little bit different than what I was used to. There wasn't a lot of structure there, a lot of things that outside of basketball that took precedence over a lot of things there, regardless. So finished my master's degree there, and then I'm close to 28, 30 years old at that point. I decided, hey, I need to go make some money, right? I got to be able to provide.
You got to provide now, baby.
Yeah, so I joined the business force for about 4 or 5 years. Did real well financially, but just didn't find it to be my calling, you know, didn't find it to be.
Hold up now. Hold on, big dog. What was you doing then?
So
what were you doing?
I was working as a technical recruiter for hospitals and medical personnel.
Yeah.
Moving people back and forth across the country, headhunting is what they call it.
Right.
Did very well, but in regards to everything, looking back, it helped me be a better coach because now I know how to recruit kids.
I like that.
You know, so I really took it. It was really beneficial to me to figure out how to talk to people, how to get them interested in the things that I'm doing and what we're doing in our program. So it helped me quite a bit.
Okay.
Just again, I loved the financial part of it, but it would be like I wouldn't want to get out of bed and go to work. Right.
Right. So one of those situations, the pay is good, man, but when your heart though.
Yeah. So I would close about an 8-month deal, and then I'd go on hiatus for about 2 or 3 weeks, and just travel around the country, travel to other countries, and that type of thing. So it's kind of living a little bit of a bachelor life at that point, and. I had a good friend. I was working in Orlando and had a good friend who was teaching and coaching high school out in Melbourne, Florida. He invited me to, asked me to come be his assistant coach. He got me a job at the local middle school right there on the beach. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better situation. Man. And then just got back in that classroom and said, I got to figure out something else to do. I'm giving a nod and kind of giving props to all the high school, middle school teachers and coaches out there because you guys have a lot of patience and you're able to deal with a lot of different things other than just the sport that you're probably really interested in being a part of. So kudos to you guys out there who are doing that. You know, our kids need those type of influences at early ages, and unfortunately, I just didn't have the patience to do it at that point.
Right. But that's all right, though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
So I did that for a year, and then I just said, hey, I got to get to the college level. Called him up, asked him if he had any spots on his staff, and was lucky to come volunteer for him. I had another job during the day where I would work from 8 until about 1 or 2, and then go over to the gym and volunteer there. And luckily for me, the very next year, the assistant coach who was there took another position, and I got hired on as the assistant coach, and then worked there for 6 years. Very, very successful. He and I working together. We had 3 All-Americans during the 6 years I was there. We had 20-plus win seasons every year. So I felt like I knew what I was doing. And he was very receptive to what I was doing, my inputs and things like that, which he hadn't been for other assistant coaches. So felt very good about that. And at that point, I had a wife and a baby, and figured I need to make some adult money, right? I gotta be able to bring home some bacon for my wife and kids.
You gotta bring it home, man.
Then LaGrange was in our conference where I was assistant coach. They were in our conference, and the job opened up. I knew people down here from just getting to know them through the years, and out of 182 applicants, they chose me.
Wow. So what year was that, big dog? When you
My first year here at LaGrange was 2011 and 12.
Okay.
So basically 11 years.
11 years ago.
So,
okay. So I'm going to freeze you right there. All right. So you coming in. No, I'm going to back you up first, man. I know that when you come and working with your former coach, man, how was that, man, as far as you being able to tell him some things you're seeing? Because, again, when you're head coach, a lot of times you don't want, for a young person to come in and be like, Coach, I see this. So how was it, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you approaching him.
So it was really great when I had to do the laundry and clean the gym up and all that. So he was really receptive to all my ideas about laundry and cleaning the gym and all that type of thing. But no, he and I, he basically taught me how to play basketball the right way. He taught me how to be sportsmanlike. I was a little rogue when I was a player back in the day. Early 80s and 90s. I mean, it was either you win or you fight.
One of the two.
I had to figure out how to win with and lose with class, and he helped me quite a bit with all that. And he saw the transformation in me as a young man from a little punk and a basketball player to a grown man now, and taking things the right way. I have a great deal of respect for him and always have. So I listened to what he said. I tried to have his back at all times. Loyalty goes a long way in the coaching business, as well as develop relationships with the young men that I was working with. I was kind of the middleman. He's the iron fist, and I was kind of the guy to soften blows for the players and that type of thing. So it taught me how to have relationships in the game. And, the ideas that I would come up with and that he was receptive to were most of the time defensive ideas of trapping certain people or switching defenses, pressing a little bit, and those type of things, which I've carried with me here to LaGrange. That's some of what our style is. We're a defensive-minded team first.
Okay.
But his offensive philosophy, the transition part of it is really something that I took with me. We're with a shot clock. We're trying to score in the first 10 seconds. Put points on the board. At LaGrange, I think I'm like 28-1 when we score 100 points. So. Why not score 100?
Right, let's give it 100 every time, baby. So listen, big dog, your first year at LaGrange, man. Do you remember that first year, man?
Man, it was quite a bit of a challenge. I can tell you. The team, the program was 5-22 when I got here. There was 5 players on the team when I arrived in June, and one of those guys didn't even play high school basketball.
Wow.
So we had a lot of challenges to overcome. Had to get started recruiting. Did really well with some kids that I knew were hungry. They turned out to be somewhat problems and headaches and all that, but that comes with the learning the ropes territory. And we wound up winning our regular season conference championship that first year. So we had a really good first year there. So I'm very proud of that.
So as far as recruiting, man, I know recruiting is important for any college, man. But now,
Very difficult at our level.
I was about to ask you though. Talk about the because I'm sure it's emotional because you like traveling here, traveling there, and you. Man, give me that stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
So I've got a lot of miles on my car. Yeah, I've had to replace the tires 2-3 times.
Yeah.
But no, it's well worth it for me. And it is very difficult at LaGrange College at the Division III level because we don't offer athletic scholarships, which most kids are looking for, and that's totally understandable. A lot of kids don't see the other side of it, that we can offer you a 2 to 3 times more academic scholarship than you might get at a Division II or Division I school for athletic scholarships. So that's quite a bit of a challenge to open people's eyes a little bit. We've got to find kids who have good grades, are going to be able to do the challenging work at LaGrange, the academic work at LaGrange College, and that's for anybody that goes from high school to college. You got to understand that there's a next level to everything. It's going to be more challenging as in the athletic aspect of things. It's going to be more challenging in the academic aspect of things.
True. That's true.
So it's somewhat difficult to open kids' eyes to both sides of it. Now, since I've been there 11 years, I've figured out to go where the 3.8 kids are and 3.5s. Kids that understand the academic part of it, and they. The kids that I recruit, they understand that the ball stops bouncing one day. And I think a lot of youth today do not understand that. They don't have a concept of that yet, that, at 25, you're pretty much done, unless you're just a top-tier athlete or a top tier in your sport. I mean, you're pretty much done unless you can find a way to stay around the game. You're going to be in the office somewhere. You're going to try to find something else to do.
Maybe somebody does, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, most of the kids that I talk to are receptive of that because they understand that already at this level, which I think helps their athletic journey. It helps them to understand, hey, this is the amount of time I have. I have to do my best at what I'm doing now, both in the classroom and on the court, and I understand it's going to come to an end at some point. So it's very good at relationship building at this level. Every kid that has played for me as a senior has graduated. I'm very proud of that stat. And again, I'm going broke buying wedding gifts and baby shower gifts and all the stuff for all these all the 40 kids that graduated underneath me already.
But I'm gonna tell you what's good though. I mean, but it says a lot about you though, and as for how they see you.
I do.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They couldn't send you no invitation or something, right? You can pop up at Dominican. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Right. So Big Dog, let me ask something, man. So, as being a coach, man, sometimes you got to have those hard conversations with your player. For a player who think, like, for example, they may come from a high school where they may be averaging, 16, 17 points. But for your particular program, that's not what you need them to do. Talk about that conversation, man.
So, it's somewhat difficult for kids who, scoring 25, 30 points a game in high school and to come to here to sometimes not do that. Right. My first initial meeting with all of my freshmen, I have a sheet that says, hey, these are the things that you need to concentrate on this year. Number one is academics, because if you get started good on the right hand academically, you're going to be fine the rest of the 3-4 years.
Yeah.
If you get started off bad and on the academic part of it, then you're going to be climbing a ladder. You're going to be climbing the hill, the mountain for the next 3-4 years as well. So academics is the most important thing that I want to see freshmen get involved with. Secondly is they need to learn how to be a good teammate.
Okay.
Our culture is that there's no ego. That's one of our slogans. That's one of the things that we hashtag, whatever you guys do and all that. But that's one of our things, no ego. And for you to be a good teammate helps you, eases the pain a little bit from going from being the 32-minute guy game in high school to maybe a 10-minute guy as your freshman year in college. And if you're lucky enough to get 10 minutes a game, hey, then you're doing well as a freshman. I think any coach across the country will tell you, unless you're just the superstar, experience wins games. And so I need guys who have been through it. They played 10, 15, 20 games before they really start making an impact on what we're doing and our success. So that's one of the challenging parts about it. then the third thing that I try to talk to them about is getting involved in other things in the college other than just focusing so much on basketball that first year. Evidently you have the talent to play basketball, so you're going to get the opportunity, but you can't just rely on that when you get to college. You need to go out and join clubs. You need to go to the movies. You need to, go on dates or whatever. You need to kind of experience a little bit about college. And that helps them all kind of settle down a little bit, knowing that my expectation of them is not purely athletic. It's more about, hey, this is how you become a good young man. You gotta spread your wings a little bit, get out of the gym. I mean, I know you want to get shots up and all that type of thing, but at times you need to manage your time better to where you become a well-rounded person and take that torch and run with it.
Wow. So what's the biggest thing you've seen as an incoming freshman who's coming to play college ball? What's the hardest thing they struggle with as far as basketball?
Well, as well as I do, big dog, that the big difference between high school and college is, and the same with college and the professional leagues, is speed and strength. Speed and strength. And a lot of kids rely on their natural talent in high school, overlook the weight room, overlook the agility drills, just spend so much time working on putting the ball in the basket that they don't understand, hey, I don't care what size you are, you're going to have to block out. You're going to have to sit down and guard somebody and take charges. You're going to have to, run the floor. You got to be faster than the next guy. You got to have good footwork. And some of those things are hard to teach guys unless you want to be a basketball player. There's a difference between wanting to play playing basketball and being a basketball player. There's a big difference between those two things. And a lot of freshmen come in and they like playing basketball. And that's one of the reasons that they may not stick around and stay throughout the program, the 4 years. They realize that, hey, I just like playing basketball. I don't want to be a basketball player.
It's a difference now. Big difference.
Big difference. So luckily for us at LaGrange College, we have a developmental team where they can come and try and work 2 years to see if they can. If they really like the atmosphere, if they like what it takes to be committed to the program. And so generally, hopefully after those 2 years, they find out yes or no whether they want to do that, and hopefully they stay at LaGrange College. I mean, it's the same amount of money whether you play basketball or not. So after you've been there 2 years, hopefully you've developed some friends and want to stay there and continue to agree there. I mean, it's a great institution. It does great academics. The professors care about you quite a bit, and you just don't get that at certain schools. You're not if you're not really high important at the University of Georgia, you're just going to be a number.
Yep.
And not to say anything about the University of Georgia, I go Dogs or whatever, but but at those big schools, that's kind of how it is. The junior college route is more or less, hey, we're trying to develop you to get to the D1 school. So they don't put a lot of some schools do not put a large emphasis on the academic part of it, which I think we do a great job with. But basketball-wise, for our freshmen, it's speed and strength area. Yeah, and they either catch on to it and want to dive into it, or they just say, look, this is not for me.
Yeah. So kids still come in, man, not lifting weights from high school to college. Like, you know what I'm saying? For real, man. This still going on. I remember growing up, everybody like basketball shouldn't lift weight, but that's far from the truth. So kids are still coming in like,
oh yeah. So I had just recently had a young man who played. He was on our reserve developmental team, but we after COVID hit, we basically did away with that because we just didn't have the numbers. And so we sat down for an individual meeting at the end of the year, and I said, okay, here's the 4 things that you got to do over the summer to come back and earn some playing time and be part of the rotation, that type of thing. And it shows back up his sophomore year. He hadn't done one of those things, not even one of them. And we started scrimmaging, we started doing our thing. He comes in my office for another individual meeting. He starts asking me, how do I get in the rotation and all this? Right. And of course, I keep the file. I look at it. I'm saying, okay, did you do any of these 4 things? Did you get in the weight room? No, sir. Did you kind of consistent 3-point shot? No, sir. Can you drive by anybody like off the dribble? No, sir. I said, well, do you want to play college basketball? He said, yes, sir. I said, well, we need to find you somewhere to transfer to.
Right. Like real talk. You're not getting these 4 things done, buddy. So
you're not going to play here.
Yeah.
I apologize. I love you to death, big guy, but you're not going to do it here because we're serious about it. We take it very serious. And you're not going to be committed to what we're trying to do. Anything in college is, if you play sports in college, it's a 12-month sport. There's no way around it. And if you're not committed to that, then you're not going to make it.
Not going to make that thing. So the transfer portal, man, what did that do for your program? Did it help or did it even?
Doesn't do much for us.
Okay.
You know, I mean, everybody that I've ever tried to call in the portal is looking for a scholarship, a full scholarship somewhere. Now, there are some kids that realize, hey, I may have jumped a division. Maybe I'm in a little bit over my head here. And they contact me directly. But, you know, I've spent hours upon hours in that portal trying to contact people and and rarely get any type of results from it. I still haven't got any transfers from the portal in my program. I'm a big proponent of freshmen coming out of high school. I want a relationship with you. I want to know who you are, what you're about. I want to know your work ethic. So the transfer portal hasn't done much for us as a program. Now, what it has done is, along with social media, you know, back in the day before everybody had videos and highlight film and all this stuff, you had to get on the phone, call people. You had to go see coaches. You could find diamonds in the rough. You know, I could find gems. You know, where people, you know, where nobody's looking at this kid. You know, and but today, you know, every kid that I've started recruiting this year back in last June, you know, has gone Division II or higher just from their athletic ability, their talent. And that to me shows that I'm at least recruiting the right guys.
There we go.
Right. But it's a little wearing on me as a coach and relationship type guy that I build a relationship with someone for 10, 11 months. And then a Division II team comes in, offers them half a scholarship, and they
jump on that.
Right. So then sorry, Coach. Great getting to know you. But,
I gotta go.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, they gave me 50% over here.
Right.
So big dog, man. The game, you know, basketball game has of course, offensively, well, I'm sure defenses too, but had changed. You know what I'm saying? When did you notice the change as a coach?
Probably about 2014, 15, somewhere in there. Maybe a little bit after 16, 17, something like that. But, you know, I'm not a big analytics guy, so I don't sit here and look at this we do this well in this rotation. I do all that off of pretty much feel, and I may be doing it wrong. I don't know, but
it's working because you got numbers, baby.
I'm doing okay.
Yeah,
I'm confident in what I do, and but the analytics I do look at are sometimes number of fouls called per season, number of charges called, you know, those type of things defensively or offensively that you can tell, okay, well, the officiating is going this direction or officiating is going that direction or whatever. And so 2012, this year was the least amount of fouls called in Division III basketball. Well, the last time it was this low was in 2012. So there was a point where I felt like the officials were trying to clean the game up to just a, you know, basically an untouchable type situation.
Right.
Or they're just calling, you know, hand checks and things like that. And so I can see that it's gone back to, hey, let's let them play a little bit more now, which is my style.
Right.
I like that, you know. But so during that 2012 to now, you know, I've sat and watched all these training videos on what these referees supposed to be calling and all that type of thing, and I sometimes have to help them a little bit, remind them what the rules are, and they don't particularly like that sometimes, but that's part of my job as well. So, and this year, because of them letting them play a little bit more, you know, then I was a little more relaxed as a coach and concentrated more on what my team was doing and what we were trying to accomplish day in and day out.
Yeah. So winning, big dog, man, you've been winning like a doggone maniac, man, breaking records left and right, man. So and so here's the deal. A lot of people can coach for a lot of years, right? People can go for 10 years, 15 years, and don't have the success you've been having. How? Where?
So I think my philosophy behind it is And when you say winning, like I don't know that my one-loss percentage is so good. Like, you see these coaches who win 400 games and only lose 75 or whatever. That's not my longevity goal. I don't really care what my winning percentage is when I'm dead and gone. What I care about is how many banners we hang, how many rings we get. And so my philosophy is that in the first non-conference part of the season, I'm going to be playing the best teams I can possibly play.
I like it.
We're playing the toughest teams that we can play. I mean, last year, we wound up winning a regular season conference championship, and we played 3 Division II teams, which I knew when I scheduled them, they're going to be losses, right? So there's 3 losses already on Coach Wallace's record. But because we play these tough teams, it prepares us for our conference schedule to where, like, look, we've been through the trenches. We've competed with West Alabama, West Georgia, Montevallo. Number 13 in the country was Emory. Number 23 in the country would wound up being Barry. So there's really good basketball being played in this area, in this region. And it's my job to find the best basketball teams that we can play and go out and play them and try to be successful through those things.
I dig that. Yo, hey, man, do people shy away? Like, other teams like, Coach, I don't know, man.
Some of them do.
Some of them do, right?
They call me. I call them about trying to schedule a game, and some of them like, look, no, we're not playing you this year.
You guys,
let me check your roster first. They see I got seniors and juniors. No, we're not playing you.
Right.
That type of thing. But that's understandable. That's just not how I roll. I want to play the best teams I can possibly play.
Yeah.
Like we scrimmaged. We had a scrimmage game with Columbus State. So I'm trying to play. We played Jacksonville State in the exhibition game this past year. We were down by 2 at halftime. Whoa. So that builds the confidence of our players to say, look, we can compete. Do we have the bench? Do we have the conditioning to stay in the game with them? Not all the time, but little successes like that lead to more successes in your conference schedule, in my opinion.
And listen, man, but to me, I think that's super important, because you're going through the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like training in here. So to get people ready, I take them through it.
That's exactly what you should be doing. They need to be prepared for what it's going to be
That's
like.
It. Preparation, man. So, Big Dog, being a coach, man, like I said, I don't know if you knew it now, I coached at the college. I don't know, I think I told you
LaGrange College. You were there.
Back when Mooney and all that was there. But, man, one thing I noticed is the time put in, at this football standpoint, I'm sure basketball the same thing. The time put in, and Coach Mooney said something one time, and it stuck with me like for now. He's like, no matter how much you make as a coach, you still underpaid. He said because you put so many hours in.
100%. When I was an assistant, I averaged up the number of hours that I was working per week compared to my pay, and it was somewhere around $3.50 an hour, $3.50 an hour, and I'm thinking to myself, am I this dumb to do this, or is it just this rewarding? And now that I'm a head coach and running my own show, I mean, I think I'm probably about a minimum wage now per hour.
So you're getting up there, though. At least you're getting up there, man.
So and inflation's not helping much, but it's so rewarding. It's such a rewarding job. This past 2 years with COVID and some of the changes that the college has been going through, I haven't had an assistant coach, so I've been doing it all myself for the past 2 years. Luckily, I know how to do laundry. Luckily, I know how to clean the locker room and sweep the floor and do all that stuff. So that's been quite a challenge the last 2 years. It wasn't much quality of life just because I'm intent on winning, and I'm going to do it until I do win. And so a lot of long hours at night at home by myself watching film. My wife's in there snoring, and my kids are snoring, and here I am watching film at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then turning around trying to get up at 7 and get them ready for school and that type of thing. So it wasn't much quality of life, but the years that I've had a good staff have been our best years. And that's what it takes you to have to be able to manage people underneath you that have the same vision you have as your assistants. And it's really beneficial to a program to be able to retain those assistants with the type of pay that they need, to be able to give them raises if they've done good things. And I think that's something that our level is very hard to continue to do. You can't continue success without help. And if you can't pay the help, or they don't earn the money they think they should be making, then it's very difficult to keep that success rolling. And I think that, most of all, as I look at it, it pertains to sports like football.
Okay.
When you have 70, 80, 90 kids on the team, and then you only have 4 or 5 coaches there to maintain those guys, that's very difficult. And then you don't get to keep those coaches year in and year out. Then it's very difficult to have success at this level. But, I feel like very, very proud to say Earl Chambers is a colleague of mine. I think he's a hard worker. He's doing things the right way. And he's going to get this football program turned around for us.
He's going to turn it around.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say something, man. So when I came to one of your games, and I salute this big dog. You know what I'm saying? You guys bought it, guys won. I saw you go down and do the laundry. Like, I ain't going to lie. I was shocked. I was like, hold up. Like, what assistant joint said, they ain't going to do it?
No.
But big dog, you still getting dirty, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's also one of the things, one of the old saying, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. And I'm a big stickler on having our stuff look good. And another thing that when I was assistant, I made the locker room look Division I. I made it look like it's pristine. Everything was in the right folded. Everything looking good. You see your number. You see all this stuff when you come in every day. And so I don't necessarily do it to that extent now because without it's just so time consuming. Right. But yeah, I do it all. I do it all. And
so what about social media, man? We were talking about me and my other guy was talking about Coach Prime. He's a social media guy. Big dog. Oh, you a social media guy, man? Do you?
Well, I think I could be if I had help. But, the technology has just gone over my head at this point. I had to get one of the kids to set up my Twitter account. I had to get one of the kids to set up my Cash App account and all that type of thing. So it's a little humbling, that's for sure. But I think we do good with social media. I try to stay away from it quite a bit because it does, it does consume so much time. I don't like looking at a screen for so long. I can see where it creates anxiety and it creates depression and all those other factors that a lot of kids these days don't look at or don't understand quite yet. But I can definitely see where that plays a role in that stuff. I mean, the mental aspect of the game is just as important as the physical aspect of the game. And if you don't have it mentally, it's hard to do it physically.
Right. So when the season ends, big dog, how long do you take just to breathe and just like, okay, let me put this year behind me, and that's time for next. You know what I mean?
So yeah, that's a good question. I like to say that I'm gonna take the entire week off.
Right.
With recruiting, it doesn't happen. It's just constantly. You have to constantly stay in touch with kids, especially in today's society.
Right.
So I don't take a lot of that time off. And the thing that I love about it is I tell the guys that are returning, hey, stay out of the gym for the week, do whatever, do something different, go fishing, do something different, And I tell them this year in and year out, and 2 days later, they're back in the gym shooting,
right.
And for me as a young man, when I was coming up, listening and hearing the ball go through the hoop was very therapeutic for me. And I can see where it is for kids today, and it still is for me. I get in the gym and shoot set shots these days. No more jump shots. And I shoot with the kids sometimes, but it is. It's very therapeutic. I have to make them turn the music off.
Yeah.
But for me, because I like to hear the ball go through the net, I like to hear it bounce on the floor. I like to hear shoes squeaking. So.
That music right there, though.
Exactly.
I mean? Yeah, that old commercial.
Yeah,
remember those?
Absolutely.
Yeah. AI and them, yeah.
So the little baby and Lil Durk and all, it's hard for me to understand what they're saying. I'm a big rap fan, but I can't get in today's rap that much. Go? What's that?
Right now, if I go into your whip, Coach, who will you be playing?
Well, there'd probably be a lot of Jay-Z, a lot of Lil Wayne,
a
lot of Kanye.
Yeah.
But then, of course, a lot of Led Zeppelin, a lot of Widespread Panic, which they're kind of jam bands or whatever you want to call it. So get lost in the guitar here and there.
Why not, man? So, sometimes you got to do that.
Yeah,
you got to get lost.
You know, the Jay-Z Unplugged on MTV was one of my favorite ones that he did.
That's a classic. Though.
Yeah. So I like Jay-Z. He's a big fan. But I started out going to the Run DMC, Houdini, LL Cool J. I saw all those rap concerts when I was 16, 17, 18 years old. And it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Walk this way type stuff.
Yes, sir.
So, Big Dog, let me ask you this, man. So, Coach, so from a, from a basketball standpoint, do you ever think we'll come back to the basket big guys again?
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so. You know, I think that when kids find an interest in basketball, the most important thing that they start doing is showing them how to dribble, showing them how to pass and catch and those type of things. And then just like my son, my 8-year-old son, he's just eating up with basketball.
Right.
But all he wants to do is shoot it.
He want to shoot that thing.
Yeah. And so as a trainer for you and for I think for your Clockwork Performance training here, I would suggest teaching them those fundamentals. You got to teach them jump stops. You got to teach them reverse pivots. You got to teach them how to stay on balance the entire time when people are checking them and hand pushing them and all that type of thing. And then, of course, you got to be able to put it in the hole and that type of thing. But learning how to dribble and handle the ball and pass and catch are skills that will go on with you forever.
Right. Right.
For me as a player, I was more of the fundamental guy. Maybe that's why I teach it like that. Maybe why I think it's so important. But I was, I pass, catch, defend, rebound, block out, I was the king of the little things is what my coach used to call me. And if you can find guys that can do those things and score, then you're going to be in good shape. And so there's not a lot of kids that want to play with their back to the basket. They want to face up. And I have 3 or 4 kids coming in, 6'7", 6'8", that I really like. They can all shoot the three, but I'm going to teach them how to play a little bit of low post, a lot of things that go over high school kids' heads is finding mismatches in the game, finding guys. Okay, so I'm watching film. I see who can play defense and who can't play defense on the other teams, right? So then I think, okay, how are we going to isolate this guy, isolate that guy? How are we going to get an easy bucket here and there? Yeah, we run sets and all that type of thing, but if you can throw it into somebody at the low post and he's got somebody guarding him that can't guard anybody, you did 1 or 2 dribbles, get to the basket.
Mouse in the house, man.
Exactly.
Bang them up.
Exactly.
Bang them up, big dog.
And that teaches them a little bit. That teaches them a little bit of toughness as well.
Yep.
When you're banging on somebody. So.
But I'm saying with the NBA right now, man, people like AD, they're saying the reason why, again, injuries come because injuries come. But, people are saying the reason why he's probably staying injured because he's a big guy who asking his body to do a whole lot of stuff that he's trying to,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Well, as we get older, our body ain't working the same way, right?
That thing's a little different now.
And especially when those guys have every resource available to them to heal up and to get healed and all that type of thing. And so sometimes it's hard to understand, hey, look, if you're that big, play to your strengths. Why try to do something that's not conducive to your body just because that's where you think that you need to play. For longevity, change what your game is. Right. If you're 7 foot, then play down low and rebound and dunk and jump hooks and all that type of thing. I don't see a big need for 7 foot guys shooting the three. I'm not sure that it's conducive for them over a long period of time that they'll be able to play that style.
That makes a lot of sense though. So Big Dog. So at the end of every show, man, I always get my guests to leave the viewers and the listeners something positive. I reach down in Coach Wallace's bag of positivity and give it to him, man.
So some of the things that we talk about in our program is that, first and foremost, nothing will work unless you work. You know, if you're not willing to put the time in, if you're not willing to commit to something, then none of it's going to work. We're never going to be successful. The team's not going to win. You're not going to be successful as a player. So putting the work in is the most important part about it.
I like it. I like it.
Another thing that I think is very important is, and like I said, is you have to be happy for other people's success. You know, there's no room in the world to be running around hating on anybody. You know, so when you see your teammate or you see another guy from another team be successful, maybe not against your team. I mean, again, when competition comes, it's competitive.
Yeah.
But after the game, during the season, whatever, you know, you should be happy and positive to see other people do good things for themselves or for their program, for their team. And that's just the way life should roll. Yeah. It's been a long minute since we've been rolling like that, you know. And you know, one of the things that I'm most thankful for is having a diverse roster.
Most definitely.
You know, and everybody get along with each other. I mean, and that's the way I've done it my entire life. You know, I had to open my parents' eyes a little bit to what things are and how the world really works. So love everybody.
Yes, sir.
You know,
yes, sir.
I don't know if you guys have seen. I can't think of the Jackie Moon movie.
Nah, give it to me though.
ELE, man. Everybody love everybody.
Everybody love everybody. We like that, man. But big dog, I appreciate
it's been a pleasure.
you, man.
I really appreciate you, man. You're doing great stuff here for our community.
Thank you, sir.
For the young people here, and I've been a supporter of yours since day one, since the DR.
Yeah, you know? Baby. Let them know. I appreciate
anything
that,
I can do to ever help you. You know, I got you.
I appreciate that, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Listen, man, y'all know what it is, man. I'm Kane Bradfield. Zip 'em up.